Hi everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Okay, so this is the fifth round draw for the 29th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. In the last round, we had eight people, and the wheel cut them in half nicely to make it just four in the fifth round here. So, just to reiterate who they are Calfoth, C. Collins 44, Cool Hand Puke, and Rigno. So they're the four that have made it to the business end of the game now. This could very well end up being the last round in the game. Or we could just go on with you four forever, who knows? But it it could be that all of you get eliminated and the wheel wins, or all but one of you gets eliminated, in which case they're the winner. But definitely getting towards the business end of this of the game now. And for the fifth round, we have UFC Fight Night: Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. And again, it's I wouldn't say it's, I know this a bit of a cliche now to start my videos off by describing it as a sort of veteran versus prospects. It's not really, but the case, but it certainly feels like that. Funny enough, is Joaquin Buckley's actually had more fights than Kamaru Usman, but just from how long Usman's reign as the welterweight champion was, it just feels like Usman's the veteran who's been around for longer. Um, maybe in terms of time he has, I don't know, but not in terms of fights anyway. But Buckley's certainly not exactly a prospect. He's very much an established fighter in his own right, which is why usually when I start off my videos with the cliche veteran versus prospects, I usually side with the veteran. Um, because I think they're going to be too experienced and too much for the up and comer to handle, but not in this case because uh, Buckley isn't a prospect. As I said, he's a very established fighter now at welterweight, knocking on the door of a title shot. It has been for a while, to be fair. Um, I know there's been a bit of turbulence in the welterweight division with all the talk of Islam Makhachev moving up and that disrupting the rankings and all that. We'll see how that plays out, but it's a tough division to get a title shot in, and any other division, someone like Joaquin Buckley, especially someone with the knockouts that Joaquin Buckley's been producing, yeah, he'd have got a title shot a while ago, I feel. So the fact that he's still working his way up towards the title shot is just shows how insanely stacked the division is. Anyway, enough rambling about the welterweight division. How's this fight go? Conventional logic would say, given Buckley's knockout streak, so it'd be him to win by knockout, but I've got him to win by decision here. And a lot of that is simply to do with Usman's last showing against Hamzat Chimaev, and that was on short notice as well. I think 10 days' notice. And he was able to go the distance with one of the most feared prospects, one of the most uh, ferocious finishers that the UFC's seen in a long time. So the fact that he was able to do that on short notice, I think there's no reason he can't take Buckley's decision. If he can last the distance with Chimaev, he can definitely go the distance with Buckley. The only thing that concerns me about that is that that was about 1.5 years ago now. So hopefully the ring rust isn't affecting Usman too much. But he's a world class athlete, so I wouldn't have thought it would have that big an effect on him. But in any case, I don't think he's quite got enough spark left in him to get the win. Unfortunately. 3, 4 years ago easily, but not anymore. But so yeah, Joaquin Buckley for a decision there is my prediction for this one. But of course, you're not here to listen to my predictions. You're here to see who you're getting paired up with in the Lucky Bastard game. And first to face the wheel this week is Calfoth. Let's see who Calfoth will be rooting for tomorrow. Oh, right on the line, and the wheel says it's Paul Craig. Paul Craig there for Cal Foth. It was right on the line between Paul Craig and Rodolfo Bellato, and in my opinion, I think he'd have been better off getting Bellato. I've got Paul Craig very much as the underdog here on a three-fight losing streak. He did go the distance against Bo Nickel, so that was a very good showing in that fight. But again, the thing is, he didn't win. And for this game, it doesn't matter how good you look or um, what moral victories you might take from a fight. All that matters is the official result. And I think Rodolfo Bellato's most likely to get his hand raised at the end of it. This fight was, of course, scheduled to take place a few weeks ago, but Bellato had to pull out due to a medical issue on the night. Hopefully, he's got over it by now, whatever the issue was. Hopefully, he's made a full recovery and he is coming into this fight in full fitness and isn't coming back too soon. And he's an exciting fighter, finishes most of his fights. He's usually by knockout, but Paul Craig, he's got as he showed against that Bo Nickel fight there. He's a very tough guy to stop. So I've gone with Bellasso for a decision simply because I think his work rate's going to be is going to win it for him on the cards, but I don't think he's quite potent enough to get a stoppage over Paul Craig. But Calforth will obviously be hoping I'm wrong, but we'll see how it plays out. But first one up, and I think we might have our first person eliminated from this round here. Okay, C. Collins 44 next to learn his fate. Let's see who C. Collins 44 is going to be paired with. And he gets Andre Petrosky. Andre Petrosky there for C. Collins 44. And he's up against Edmund Sharbazian. Who, again, I've gone with Sharbazian to win, this time by third round knockout. Um, the reason for that is simply he's a very dangerous striker. He's been inconsistent. His recent fights have been sort of win loss, win loss, win loss, doodly doodah. But he is a dangerous striker on his night, and more often than not, that does result in a knockout. And Petrosky, on the other hand, he's been knocked out a few times in the past. To be fair to him, not recently. As of late, he's gone on a three-fight winning streak. But he did suffer two back-to-back knockouts before then. So the only good thing about this for C. Collins 44 is that obviously that three-fight win streak, maybe that shows he's improved. He's got a bit of consistency now, but in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, is he still going to be vulnerable to strikes? Is his chin still a bit questionable? And that's the sort of thing that can only really be answered by going up against a good striker who's very good at, has got that instinct to finish fights. And unfortunately, Edmund Sharbazian is that fighter. So we're learning a lot more about Andre Petrosky after this fight, but I still think that this is, yeah, it's possible he could scrape a decision. If he survives, he could probably get a decision. So it's not as if he's got no hope at all. It's not as if he's being a sacrificial lamb here or anything, but yeah, it's always my concern. I can never fully put my faith behind a fighter who's been knocked out a couple of times before in the past, especially when they're up against an out and out striker like Shabasian. So again, I think C. Collins 44 might just need a little bit of luck there if he's going to make it through to a potential sixth round, if that happens. We'll see how the others do, but two down, two to go. Next is the last of our remaining C gang, Cool Hand Puke. So let's see if Full hand puke. He gets a favourable draw. And he gets Cody Durden. Cody Durden there for cool hand puke. And one thing I did notice about this card when I was writing out the looking up the stats, writing out notes and things is there's three Codys on the cards. There is Cody Garbrandt, there is Cody Brundage. Those two fights are actually following each other. And it kind of pisses me off that they've put Cody Durden down on the prelims because they missed an opportunity to have three fights with a guy called Cody in a row. Because they got because on the main card you've got a middleweight fight between Cody Brundage and Mansour Abdul Malik. That's immediately followed by the bantamweight fight between Cody Garbrandt and Raoni Barcelos. I don't see why they couldn't have put the Cody Durden fight just but the one before the Cody Brundage Mansour Abdul Malik fight. That's just for the yeah, I don't know. That just pisses me off more than it should. I just come on. You had your three Codys on the card, and you could have had them in a row like that, and you didn't. Honestly, whoever's put this card together, just get your life together, man. Whoever put this card is just ridiculous. Anyway, so as for Cody Durden, anyway, even though we're seeing him disappointingly early on in the card, I do think he is going to win. I've got him to win by decision against Jose Ochoa. Um, Cody Durden's very much an established veteran of the flyweight division now in the UFC, and Jose Ochoa has not really got off to a best start. There's not really well, I say that he's still very green. Let's be honest. He's 7-1, and that one loss came on his UFC debut versus Laona Cavagna, which isn't too bad. A loss you can forgive that loss, but it's still not the you don't want to be getting your UFC tenure off to a losing start. And after that, they're now feeding him to Cody Durden, who is, in my opinion, of a similar level to Leona Kavanagh. But I don't really understand that matchmaking either from Jose Ochoa's point of view. To be honest, I think if they keep matching him up like this, he's going to get cut sooner or later. Probably no fault of his own; they're just pushing him too fast. But he was a spectacular knockout artist at regional level. All his regional fights, most of them he won by knockout. But there's still questions as to whether or not he can carry that through at this level, which, to be honest, I don't think he can. Or at least he hasn't shown that he can as yet. So, yeah, putting an inexperienced knockout artist like that against someone like Cody Durden, who has seen that all before, he's not going to have any tricks um, that Durden hasn't seen. So, I think that's a very, very tough fight for Jose Ochoa there to get himself into. And yeah, I fully expect Cody Durden to ride it out, take control, and see out a decision win, which obviously is good news for Cool Hand Puke. Makes him the only one so far that I'm actually confident in is getting through to a potential sixth round. Okay, and so last but no means least, the only one not beginning with a C that's made it this far is Rigno. So let's see who the wheel has in store for Rigno. And he gets the probably the biggest favourite on the card, Malcolm Wellmaker. Yeah, so Malcolm Wellmaker. I love the name as well. Uh, Typically surnames would a lot of the time you'd based on the profession of ancestors. So, like, if you, Taylor is a common surname, often derived from tailors and tailoring and that kind of thing. Uh, So it just makes me think maybe Malcolm's ancestors were well makers, like makers of wells. I don't know. Maybe they were digging wells in the olden days. I don't know. But anyway, back to the current generation. Um, we have 9-0 undefeated Malcolm Wellmaker up against the returning Chris Moutinho, who's a bit of a fan favourite, really. Let's be honest, a bit of a cult favourite in the UFC community. I'm glad to see him back in the UFC. He doesn't have a chance in this fight, by the way, but I'm glad to see him back in the octagon. Um, because I'm sure we none of us are ever going to forget that. When he was brought in as a sacrificial lamb for a little unknown bantamweight the UFC were trying to hype up called Sean O'Malley, who I wonder whatever happened to him. I wonder if he ever did get title fights. I don't know. I wonder if he did ever get close to a belt or anything like that. I don't know. Anyway, he was meant to just be sparked out. He's meant to be a whipping boy for O'Malley, but uh, waited to the third round. I think it was actually only about 20 seconds away from hearing the final bell before the ref waved it off. Which, to be honest, was kind of understandable because he was just having the brakes beaten off him. That's why we loved him though, because he was getting pieced up the whole fight, but he didn't go down. Maybe there were knockdowns, but he didn't get knocked out. Is what I mean by that expression. It was a technical knockout. Um, and again, he repeated it in his. He was given another fight in the UFC against Guido Canetti, who's since been cut from the promotion. Um, but again, that was a technical knockout. Um, it was still standing when the ref waved it off. So he's a tough guy. He is one tough cookie. That's why we loved him. We always love to see fighters like that. Absolutely no quit in him. And to be honest, I think that's probably how this one goes as well. Not a knockout, but a technical knockout. For Malcolm Wellmaker. I've gone with the third round. Truthfully, it could happen in any of the rounds. Depends how one-sided this becomes. But the truth is, I can't see any way that Malcolm Wellmaker doesn't win this because again, he's just Chris Martinez just being brought in as a bit of a whipping boy again, and as almost a repeat of the situation he found himself in against O'Malley. Chris Martinez has gone on a five-fight win streak since losing the UFC, so fair play to him for that. So outside the UFC, he's had a bit more success, but Malcolm Wellmaker seems like a very, very good prospect. Um, he's as analysis so far was implied, obviously a knockout artist. He does have a couple of sub wins in there, and he's gone the distance a few times. So he showed glimpses of other aspects of his game. But the truth is, against someone like Chris Moutinho, who is very hittable, it's very tough, but let's be honest, very hittable. It's not exactly hard to land a shot against him. So it's he's not going to really need to show much else of his game. He's not really going to need to threaten with the subs or manage the fight or stamina in any way to take it the distance. He can just keep on unloading on Chris and get another technical knockout. That's how I see this one going, and that's why the odds are so massively one-sided. It's not very often you see somebody. I think it's a minus 2,000 favourites last time. That's like 1 to 20 in UK betting terms, I think. Um, and that'd be like you put 20 quid on and you get a pound back. It's just like it's not worth it really. But those odds make sense. That's how dumb it is those odds make sense. On the contrary, you're probably getting like 10 to 1 for Chris Moutinho, but again, not really worth the bet other than for the sentiment. But in any case, that is the best case scenario for Rigno. And I don't see any way he doesn't make it through to a potential fifth round. And if the other ones all go tits up, he's got a very good chance of winning. Um, but yeah, that's best case scenario there for Rigno. Okay, that concludes the draw for the fifth round of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game, 19th, not 19th, 29th edition rather. Um, just to run through those one more time, we have Cal Foth with Paul Craig, C. Collins 44 with Andre Petrosky, Cool Hand Puke with Cody Durden, and Rigno with Malcolm Wellmaker. Okay, so that wraps this video up. All that leaves me to say is good luck to you four, of which I would say two of you are going through. Cool Hand Puke and Rignos, my predictions. Two of you are going out. Sorry, Calfoth and C. Collins 44. Hope you prove me wrong, but I can't see it happening. But yeah, good luck with the game for all of you four anyway. Good luck with your picks on Tapology. If you've got any bets on this card, good luck with those. And until next week, whether that's a sixth round draw with two or more of you in it, or whether it's a new game entirely, the 30th edition, we'll see. But which either way, we'll be back next week, either with a new game or the next round of this game. But until then, so long for now.